Hello, everybody, and welcome back to VDRL Season 6. We're out here in Abu Dhabi today, and going into this race, Rajic leads Toro by 24 points in the not the constructors, what am I saying? Rajic and Toro aren't teams in the Drivers' Championship, but then a further 2 points behind is Kevin. So a good race here for Toro and Kevin. A 1-2 with Rajic down the order could decide the fight going into the final 3 rounds. So in Abu Dhabi right now, and joining me in the commentary box, we have what was his Nedzo and our Ted, pretty much. Myhor, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not too sure.
I'll let him introduce himself first, because that was diabolical. Maybe not. Right, that was interesting. That's like when Top Gear hosted a radio show. But
I'm on Top Gear VDRL Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like we had in real life for a large part of a real life season. A driver with better results coming back from a large points deficit, except that Toro is much better than Lando Norris. But I'm assuming we're going to have dry conditions here in qualifying in Abu Dhabi. If we don't, then I'm going to cry. We've got 14 drivers at the moment, including all of the title contenders. A smaller field will actually probably be better for them because it means there'll be less chance of safety cars, less chance for chaos, and more chance to really see who the actual best driver is. And they'll also get less traffic and stuff in qualifying.
Yeah, and just taking a second on constructors, as you can assume, 2 Red Bulls being 1 and 2 in the Drivers' Championship, do they have the championship wrapped up?
So it's 4. You can get, because you get 3 points for pole position, you get 25 points for the win, and you get 1 point for the fastest lap. So that's 26, 29. 29 times 4 is 116.
Yeah, they've got it wrapped up then, because they lead by 143. So we in the commentators booth would like to congratulate Rajic and Toro on the Constructors World Championship, unless Nedzo's math is horribly off, which you never know.
Don't say that. My maths is never wrong. It never is. Obviously, Mad Kitos is on his outlap. There's a couple of drivers on their outlaps here. Frobel,
Kevin as well.
Kevin, more importantly, yeah, he's the big title guy. He's not in the title battle really. I mean, he could come back.
He can. He pretty much needs a win here, and he needs Rajic outside the top 5.
The thing is, Toro and Kevin have been really inconsistent. So if they get back into an inconsistent streak right now, they're going to be stuffed. But Kevin has always been really good.
Rajic's always been up there fighting for podiums. Looking right now, his lowest point score was 4 points, so that's P8. That's his lowest point score, and that was in Brazil. And if I remember correctly, Brazil was a chaotic race, if I remember correctly. I don't think I commented it, but I think I watched the end of it. Well, Kevin's just started his lap now.
Yeah, he does. He comes into turn 1, gets that a little bit of oversteer on the exit there, but manages to collect it all up together as he comes round through turns 2 and 3. They are similar to a Rouge, but not at the same time. That's why I like to call them faux Rouge, kind of a play on words there. As he comes in towards the long straight, he's got the slipstream of his teammate there. That is Remus, who's decided to give him a cheeky bit of pull along down this back straight here. As you come down in towards the tricky chicane, you lose a lane of circuit because car parks built on the outside of the track actually come too close to the track to be able to have enough runoff, so they cut the straight off a bit as you come through here. A bit, yeah, really. So it wasn't the track that was built into the landscape. The track wasn't built into the landscape. The landscape was built into the track. So we come through on towards the long left-hander, now in towards the hotel section, remodelled in 2021 to turn it from a really, really awful CAC section that you couldn't do anything through to a slightly less awful section that you can't do anything through, still. As you come through on towards here, this used to be a downshifting lift, now it's just completely flat out. And in towards the final corner on the circuit, make sure he gets the good throttle on the exit there, and pole position lap time provisionally is a 1 minute 22.1. What can the other drivers do to try and beat that?
Froby's coming up on the line right now, going through the final corner. Interesting that they must decide to give Kevin the slipstream, and he is way off, 1.2 seconds. But yeah, usually you give the slipstream on the final lap, because the bank run, usually when I do league racing, which isn't that often anymore, the bank run for me is usually just to warm up or try and feel the way around the track. So him was doing it right away then, so not sure if the track will heat up or cool down, but maybe they're just gonna keep doing it every run. But a 22.1 is a solid time for Kevin. Of course, we won't know where he stands until the likes of Rajic, who's currently still in the pit lane, and Toto, who's also still in the pit lane, but goes on with a 1:23.6, and right now it's fairly widespread in terms of times.
Toto has decided to come out the pits. I think Rajic will follow in strong suit. We've got another driver just joined, Dr. Tuvis. I remember him from, was it last week or the week before? He wasn't a very particularly good driver, to be honest, but hopefully he can prove me wrong on that. Whereas Werner's got on a 1 minute 24.8. See, when Dutchy sets a 1 minute 25, I think that's just like him warming up his tyres. But with Werner, that's genuinely his fastest time that he can do.
Oh, we got yellow flags in sector 1, and I think that's just, yeah, the Williams letting past the McLaren. Then he gave his teammate a slipstream, and that put Kevin up to provisional pole. Ramos then 22.7, and currently it's a Ferrari 1 and 2 with the Red Bulls yet to set a lap time. Can Chavito, Killer, or even Dylan, yeah, Dylan right here, make up for it? That Dylan goes P6 then, as Sassoon goes P5. So yeah, like I said, a widespread Kevin on pole by 6/10 so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's none of the serious contenders have really set laps. I mean, Nicholson's been up there at occasions throughout this season, but he's really not got the Red Bulls to really contend with at the moment until Toto comes round in, because he's currently coming into the final sector. We'll see how the Red Bull man does. I assume we'll be getting into the 121s by the end of this session, but especially in this early phase, that's something that Kevin got will be big. And track evolution around here, consider it's quite a new facility, like a modern facility, and although it hasn't been resurfaced, I don't think ever, so track evolution should pay less of a dividends in terms of that. But Toto is coming through the first sector right now, all over the curbs.
Chavito Killer has just gone purple in sector 2 then, so now is also a good indication of what wings they're running there, because Abu Dhabi, of course, you want that straight line speed in the middle sector, but then also here's sector 3 then, where Chavito Killer is going through right now. You want that front end, and right there he did not have that front end, runs off the track but keeps his lap time valid somehow, so I went off throttle there or did something. So yeah, it's that tricky balance. Reminds me a lot like Hockenheim, because you've got that long straight there as well, but also the technical stadium section.
Well, it's because the things about Abu Dhabi though, it's a very balanced circuit because it's got a very even spread of long straights and lots of corners. You pretty much go balanced on the downforce. You don't really go too high, you don't really go too low. As Toto is coming through the third sector now, gets the car nicely turned in for the hotels. Very aggressive with the inputs, essentially forcing the car to do whatever he wants. Going through the off-camber left-hander. Now, progressing through the final 2 corners, it's a case of, can he usurp Kevin's time that he set right at the start? The answer is yes, by less than a tenth of a second.
Ooh, it is so close. So Toto gets past Kevin. We're still waiting for Rajic, who's now on his outlap time. Everyone else has set a lap time, so right now Toto provisional pole. Kevin, then his teammate Ramos Nicholson, that's Tala, Javito Killer, Froby, Marquitos in P8, Sassumo P9, and then Ozan rounding out the top 10. But we've still got over 10 minutes to go then, and Rajic he's warming up his tires. They should be warm from the start, as I'm assuming temperature in the areas around, what would it be, 26, 27, 28 degrees Celsius or so, and track temperature should be absolutely soaring despite it still being on Iris. And he's now coming through the final sector. So what you want to do here, you want a good run out of the final corners. It is a fairly short main straight though, so it's not absolute critical. You don't need to line it up as much as you would do in somewhere like what's got a long main straight, Ned? So I mean, Baku's got a long Monza. Yeah, Monza. That's a great example. Monza, as Toto has spun on his in lap, and oh, did he beat you? just kept it like, as it is Crowder, so it is very easy to beat you around the track like this, where the curbs can get pretty hard. Most of the times they are, though, like on the exit of the hairpin there, but you got the sausage curbs in the chicanes. You've got the entire final sector where you're just all over them. And I mean, yeah, it's a good mixture of high and low curbs then, as I think any test track would. This can be used as a test track. It is used as a test track due to, like Neto said, the long straights and the different types of corners.
Yeah, Rajic has gone purple for the first sector. Make that not purple for the second, so he's lost a little bit of time to his teammate and to potentially Kevin through that middle part of the lap. Yeah, that could be a potential reason for that. We'll see how he throws it into this final hotel section. A lot more considered approach compared to his teammate, who basically was just wrangling that car through here. Oh, a little bit awkward over the off-camber part of turn, that is turn 15, turn 14, I can't exactly remember what the corner numbers here are since the remodel, but that is a 1 minute 22.351. He needs to step his game up in the last run if he wants to challenge for pole position, and more importantly...
He's up by half a tenth right now. He was up by 1/10 after sector 1, lost a bit of time in the middle sector, as he would do because he didn't have the slipstream off his teammate, so that's why I think he needs the slipstream in the final run. Oh, and goes a bit deep into that heavy braking zone, that pretty much last heavy braking zone of the lap then, and now that's lost him a bit of momentum through the hotel section there, all over the curb there, a bit unstable for the Ferrari. I doubt this will be an improvement. It's not an improvement. Yes, it is an improvement, barely, but it's enough for provisional pole position, and that shows that, like you said, we can get into the 121s even without slipstream or any sort of help, as well as he found all that time. Then I want to say in the final 4 corners or so.
Yeah, one thing I will say about Kevin is that he is the furthest back in this championship fight, but what he does have is he will have a compliant teammate. So while Toro and Magic would be less likely to give each other runs and give each other slipstream in qualifying, if, for example, Remus, whether he finishes P5 or P6 is neither here nor there, because there's no constructors battle on really for Ferrari. If he wanted to just help Kevin out on his last run, he could easily give him a couple of attempts, just because he's a teammate who can be compliant, whereas Red Bulls don't have that.
Yeah, and Remus is a great team player. I raced him back in JRT for the Esports Championship. Great team player, giving slipstream like he did here, letting guys pass who are on fresher tires or better tires and all of that. But Tala has just gone purple in the middle sector then, so he is absolutely flanked. Then he was up by 2.5 tenths, so it seems like he drained all of his battery there in the middle sector. I'm not sure if the glitch still exists, but that 2.5 tenths would, I mean, it would barely put in P5 then, so maybe it was a glitch where the game was going quickest, or maybe it was just quickest through that sector, but lost a ton of time in the first sector. Then we'll see now then as he comes around the final corner then, a little bit around this there, then just the car not wanting to buy in, improvement by 4.5 tenths, and he 1.25 dead.
Yeah, I think what the purple sector was saying was he's got a lot of top end speed. That's what I'd say. I think he'd probably be top of the speed traps with that. I don't think he's particularly that an impressive driver, but he can drop his front wings and make it interesting, or rear wings in total, and just kind of trying to hurt people. What do you say?
Yeah. He usually tends to drop his wings, so he's got a chance in the race to just stay ahead on the straights and just park it in the corners. But Nezo, predictions then for this race. How many safety cars are in your top 3?
I boldly am going to say there's not going to be a safety car, because it's a track with lots of runoff, and we're coming towards the end of the season. Drivers, yes, they've got stuff to fight for, but the drivers who are fighting for stuff are going to be sensible about it. And there's a big, because it's Abu Dhabi and there's a lot of technical corners, the gap between the fastest drivers and the slowest drivers is going to be bigger, so there's going to be more chance for gaps, so there's less chance of drivers, for example, coming out of the pits after their first stop and being caught up with a bunch of slower cars. I think there's going to be no safety cars, and maybe 1 or 2 retirements. That's actual retirements, and not people disconnect or can't be bothered to finish the race, so they just retire in the pit lane.
And like I said, we do have a commentator down in the pit lane. And then, down in the pit lane, how's it looking over there? What's your prediction then for the race?
I actually don't know. This is my first time here, first time commentating, so I don't know the pace or the skill of these drivers. But it's a nice track, of course. I hope there won't be safety car, because it's a little bit boring, not so fast speed, you know. But here at the pit lane, it looks everyone is a bit stressful. It's very busy here, very loud. Maybe you can hear it behind me, like the magicians, like the spectators and everyone screaming.
And the pit exit, it's also very interesting going under the track and then coming out on the outside of what is it, turn 3 then. So interesting race then. We'll be checking in with you during the race. But my prediction, I think we're going to have at least one safety car, be that either virtual or a full. My prediction is going to be Kevin, Nico-san, Rajic for the race. You heard it here first. Usually when I bet on Kevin, he DNFs. So we'll see if that stays true today.
Kim Nicholson's not getting a podium here. He's half a second off the pace of the leading guys.
He will find a way. He will find a way.
I believe that it's going to be either I'm going to go Toto with the win, Kevin second, and Magic third. Because
boring.
Yeah, it is boring, but it's also the top 3 in the standings by an absolute country mile. It's not boring. Yeah. Toto and Magic have just gone to their laps, by the way. I'm not sure if they are pushing, but they are Linus Stern.
Toto's just started his lap. Oh, they are right, but this is. I mean, Rajic is 3/10 back, so maybe Toro's like, yeah, no chance he can get me, but that might. I mean, he is very close. Like, I think by the end of the second straight, he's gonna be maybe even a bit too close, even for his own liking. But this is all or nothing then for Rajic. He might have fueled up for 2 hot laps. Then he is right now out of the top 3/10 away, 3 and a bit tenths away from provisional pole or pole as well. So he needs to find the time right now. Kevin's still in the pit lane. Oh, and Toto there. I'm not sure if that distracted Rajic a bit. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or he just locked up, or maybe he's trying to give him the second slipstream head down the back straight there, as he's not really ducking out of the way. So I think he is going to continue. There he ducks out of the way. So look at that. Purple sector by Rajic in the middle sector. So it seems like what time he did lose by it. If he was surprised by Toto's move or not, he's found right back up to almost 3/10 improvement there in the second sector. Then now making his way through the final sector. This is where he was so strong already. Can he clean up his mistake, which was through this corner then? And he does just that, right up to the outside of the track. Hits the apex beautifully out to the wide curving. It's very thick once again, and I think this could be a provisional pole. No, he misses out by quite a bit. It seems like he did lose in the sector 3 then, but Toto back into the pit lane. So Toto is not going to improve on his time. And I don't think Kevin's going to come out, or is Kevin now coming out right now? I see it for
Kevin is coming out of the pits right now. Yes, he is. So I thought Toto would just go. I thought Toto was then going to follow on to do a lap himself and have Rajic give the favour back, but it seems that's not what happened. That's very interesting. I mean, Toto, if he knew that Rajic wasn't going to beat him anyway, and he knew that he couldn't beat Kevin, I suppose that's an alright call. But now Kevin's out on track for nothing. He doesn't need to do this lap.
Rajic could have fueled enough for another run.
Yeah, but he's not going to do that on 3-lap old tyres. He's not going to be able to get a faster, unless that 22.1 isn't his best time or isn't what he could do. Unless he made mistakes on that lap, he cannot, and I mean cannot, make another thing out of that. I don't think he can.
Yeah, I think the two Red Bulls would have an extra set of soft over Kevin, because Kevin is doing this lap and he probably thinks he's under threat by Rajic then, who he doesn't know has improved, or he probably knows he has improved, but I'm not sure when or if he's gonna go again. Then we will confirm Toto is out of it, so he will be front row at best, missing out by pole by 1800ths of a second. Then we will now Rajic, he is going into the pit lane, so Kevin, unless Ramos or Nicholson pull out something special out the bag, is on provisional pole, but it seems like he's still going for it then, so he wants to get into the 1.1s, or I mean, at this point you should see both Red Bulls in the pit lane. He's got 4/10 back to P4, who is his teammate, so I don't know why he's doing this lap.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably just doing it for the because he can. Yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
Well, we can see then. Let's see if we can get into the 121s here tonight. So far, I missed his sector one time then, but I think he can make it, considering last lap he went on this main straight without a slipstream, and he did also go deep into the, look at that, purple by pretty much the exact time he needs for 1:21.9. And this is the corner then where he went deep. This final heavy braking zone down from 7th gear all the way to 4th and sometimes even 3rd in the race just to get that extra rotation on those sides. Look at that, sliding away at the rear end. And those two corners, it's all about the throttle. There's zero brake. I've said this throughout the season. It's all about that throttle modulation then. And coming through the final corner now, Kevin, can he get into the 121? He's got pole position hammered down. Look at that, 121A. And he is on pole by, what is that, pretty much 2/10.
Yep. Talha back over the line in this McLaren. Can he take 4th off of Remus? Yes, he does. That's a 1:22.342. The next guy across will be probably Frobel, who is now down on his time, but can, hopefully for his sake, resurrect something through the final corner, over the curb, a bit clumsy. Stays in 8th there. Managed to recuperate about a 10th, but now that wasn't for him. Dylan is backing off, so that is your grid then for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here in VDRL. The man who is 1st in the Drivers' Championship is 3rd on the grid, and the man who is 3rd in the Drivers' Championship is 1st on the grid.
Reverse there, yeah. Dylan spun on his final lap coming out of the long left-hander, which is something we can see in the race and very easy to do on worn out tires or when the tires are already overheated or when you're on heavy fuel if you haven't done any long run pace. But yep, Kevin on pole then by 2/10, which is I mean, it's not a whole lot, but it certainly sets a statement that the other two weren't even able to compete. Of course, Rajic made that mistake in his first lap, only had the second lap, and Toro yeah, I'm guessing he locked up on the second lap, but here you go then once again. Kevin is on pole then for the main race and crucially closes in by 2 points on Rajic, so he's just 24 points behind Rajic now and just 1 point behind Toro. So every point counts then. We've seen it before in VDRL. It can come down to those provisional or those pole position points then, and he's picked up all 3 of them.
Yeah, he has. That will make it even closer and even more tense going into this race because they know that the stakes are so high. They're all going to be fighting over those top 3 positions. No one is anywhere near them in terms of, well, times and positions, really. I think those 3 are going to basically pull away from the rest of the pack, especially if they do go on an alternate strategy. Probably soft mediums around here. Not a particularly tyre-heavy circuit, not an abrasive surface, not a demanding lap, really. It's got a lot of corners, but pretty much all tracks do. So yeah, we're here in the sunset, or just before sunset in Abu Dhabi, because obviously this is a day-night race, the only twilight race on the calendar. What do you say?
We will see the sunset. Hopefully, it's looking rather cloudy from the view I've got here, actually.
Yeah, it won't rain though. It's Abu Dhabi.
It won't rain. But I would rather have the drivers be absolutely blended by the sun going into turn. Oh, what's the chicane with the new modifications? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn 6.
Yeah, yeah, potentially, but it is a fun little twilight race here. There's only ever been one good race around here in real life ever, and that was 2012. All the other races were only quote unquote good because they were title deciders, and otherwise would have been boring. But we go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Abu Dhabi. We are go, 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 go. Who gets the best start? It's Kevin who's going to lead us into turn 1, but he's got the 2 Red Bulls fighting side by side as we come through the first corner. Wide goes one of the McLarens, but that's Toro who's going to maintain the second place as now Remus is trying to fight with the 2 guys in front of him to try and cause some chaos for the Milton Keynes duo as we come in towards the hairpin now with them all fighting line of stone. The McLaren of Talha on the inside to get past Remus, but Remus fights back on the exit. He's going to try and keep that position as we come down towards the long straight and the chicane that backtracks onto each other. And now we've got Rajic up the inside, potentially of his teammate. He doesn't, he backs up for that. But the Aston Martin of Javito Kilair round the outside of the McLaren of Talha there. That's a fantastic move over the curb. He clobbers that. That was like Kobayashi and Monaco in 2012. Oh my goodness me, how much do you want to clobber that anymore? Nicoson now up to 5th place as the guys from P5 to 10 fight over those minuscule positions as best as they can. As Ozan Izik now moves past Talha as we move in towards the hotel section with Sassamo now making a position, so the McLarens up and down on the field like crazy.
Oh yeah, look at that, and still side by side going into the hotel section. The McLaren now has the inside for the next 2 corners. Can he get in front of the Haas of Dylan? And he does get in front of it, but look at that, Toro being able to stay in P2 despite starting on the hard. So yep, Toro and Rajic were side by side going into turn 1, but Toro had that inside line. He locked up, but it just dragged Rajic out a bit wide to where Rajic had to concede, and it gave Ramos a chance. But then from behind, then all of a sudden, it was Tala then who's dropped all the way down to 8th now. So, like you said, one McLaren, or actually both McLarens dropping, I think. Martin, if we can have a look at positions, gain a loss, but now Tala looking to make up those positions once again round the outside of Ozan in the hairpin. That's never going to work out. Yeah, look at that. So Tala lost 4 positions, and Sassoon, the other McLaren, lost 2 of them. But the top 3 and bottom 3 remain untouched, and already DRS enabled, and already Toro to the inside of turn 6 of Kevin, then Yves Mendoza behind as well, and he does get that move, and that is it now. In first place, you might lose 2 positions. Ramos is also crucially staying with them, so it is a 2v2 between Red Bull and Ferrari, not a 2v1 which Kevin needs to take alone. But look at that, the 2 Red Bulls side by side through the long left-hander, don't understeer into each other. And I think Rajic has got that move on the mediums. Yes, he does. So the 2 Red Bulls are in a Ferrari sandwich.
Yeah, the 2 Red Bulls need to work together here. If they just let each other go for the moves they're going to go for, and Toro can actually, Toro's on the half. This is clever, because if Toro can just keep with the guys around him and just stay in that 3rd position, his lap times are going to be instantly half a second lap quicker, just because he's sat in the DRS of those around him, and he can then go longer. If he just saves his tyres for now, he can basically just keep himself right in this battle. And especially if we have a well-timed safety car, he is in prime position. He's done a very clever idea with that. Whether that was choreographed between the 2 Red Bull drivers, we don't know, but that could be a very good call by the end of this race.
Yep, and Nicholson also just staying within DRS of Ramos then. So the top 5 all within a second of each other, and 6/10 back Rajic. That might be a bit too much, but further down the pack there's still action. Look at that, Ozan on Tala. They're both closing in on the Aston Martin, which goes defensive, going towards turn 6. McLaren inside, Sauber on the right, and in the middle the Aston Martin, there's contact, then the Sauber gets hung out to dry on the outside. The Aston Martin tries up and under, the Nico Rosberg then gets pushed off the track, comes back onto the 2 Saubers are there now, and is oh so close. Everyone has got DRS, no, not the McLaren in front. Tala does not have, and he needs to save his battery. Look at that, 4 abreast then, going out, and that was never going to work out. 4 abreast into that long left-hander was never going to work out.
Yeah, it was never going to work out. You've got Talha, Sassamo, and I think Marquitos coming to blows there in that long left-hander. Just be sensible, lads. 2 wide is at most what you want to go for there, and now Sassamo's got half a front wing. There's another car going slightly, that's Werner, but then again, he's going slowly most of the time anyway. He doesn't really do anything in any race ever. So as the leaders come on to start lap 4, drivers behind don't know how to drive.
Oh, look at that, the Tala, or no, sorry, Sasson brake checking because he has no front wing. He comes into the pit lane then, but we return back to the fight then. Can you tell us what tires he's going on, and if he has actually turned his front wing change to yes?
Yes, I hope he's gonna change his front wing, but I'm not sure. He's got hard tires, so I think he's gonna do a one-stop strategy, but I'm not entirely sure. He can do like a soft in the end, but we will see. He lost a bit of time in the pits though, so he's gonna make it up.
Did he fix his front wing?
He did.
He did. Alright. So the McLaren has fixed his front wing, and we just saw Rajic get past Kevin. Thank you very much, for that information. Then Toro though still in P3. Ramos also, look at that, Toro and Kevin then swapping through the long left-hander. Kevin just being able to keep position. That Ramos is just sitting there with a bucket of popcorn, charging up his ERS and saving his tires.
Yeah, if I was Ramos, what I'd do is I'd wait for someone like Toro to get like make like a mistake or struggle trying to get past Kevin, and then just send a move and just completely ruin, like try and get him out of DRS of the guy.
Dylan there, snap over. They try to go for a move on Werner. Instead, Dutchy gets back past him. So it seems like all these guys are scrapping very hard in the early stages of the race.
Yeah, what I will say about Sassano, I didn't realise you could go from hards to another set of hards. It seems he's gone for the harder tyre like compound, like the strategy kind of the allocation. It is interesting, but he's also going to, as Thingy said, he's gonna have to do another stop because he obviously can't go hard to the end. He needs to do another stop. He'll probably go soft at about lap 22, 21. But Taha's now moving up positions. Javito Hilaire and him are fighting over, and Mad Kitos are fighting over 8th place. But further towards the front, there is a train of 5 cars. We usually only see this type of racing at Monza, but we've got it at Abu Dhabi because it's VDRL, and here in VDRL we have the most funky racing you'll ever see in your entire life. Kevin, looming in that...
For P8.
Is there a 5 for P8?
5 for P8, Marquitos, Javito, and Tala all fighting for it. They went wheel banging the Haas and the Aston Martin into the chicane, and now all these guys have absolutely drained their battery. All of the lights are flashing. You'd think it's a disco down that second back straight. Now Tala looks to get the better run out of the long left-hander, tries to go around the outside, then going into the heavy braking zone, wheel banging at the apex. Then who was ahead at the apex? Because I'm not sure that's the rules we go about. Tala gets to move on Javito Killer then.
Yeah, if the stewards in here were going to decide incidents by who was ahead of the apex, then the entire team firing, because that's the most stupid metric to use ever. You could T-bone someone and you'd be ahead of the apex probably. So that's why I don't agree with that sort of metric. Yellow flags and set to 3. There's a Dutchy round. He's probably. What do you say?
Of course, there's a Williams round in Abu Dhabi in the final sector.
Oh, funny. Rajic is now
around
being
the outside, Tala on Marquitos, front of the hairpin on the outside, gets better drive than on the hard, so it seems like the hard's already the better tire. Then as Rajic gets past Toro, Kevin has gotten the lead. I'm guessing he also got a hair, so yeah, Toro from the lead down to P3.
Yeah, it was Kevin getting past Rajic for the lead. It wasn't Toro. Toro was always in 3rd place. But can Rajic loom in his rear view mirror and get back past? No, he's just going to sit behind. He doesn't need to push. These drivers just need to leapfrog each other essentially. And they're clearly not pushing, because like I said, these drivers have the speed and the overall driving prowess to be able to pull away from the likes of Remus and Nicoson, but they're just not doing that. There's not like they're even like 5 or 6 tenths back and kind of distant in the DRS. They are right with them, so it means that they are saving tyres. Whether that's to try and go softs, because I know Toto is definitely going hard medium or potentially hard soft. Whether the guys on the mediums are trying to stretch it out so they can go soft tyres at one point towards the end, that could be the reason why these gaps are why it's basically a train at the front as Ozan Izik into the pits for new tyres. Let's go down to the pit lane for some more info.
Yes, thank you. Ozan goes to the pit pretty early, I think. Interesting strategy. I don't know yet which tires they're gonna choose, but hards, they're gonna hards. But now they don't have any traffic in front of them if they join the road again. So it's smart, it's interesting, but very smart move.
Very smart, interesting move.
Down the inside on both Rajic and Kevin. Rajic followed suit there as Kevin was pressed out wide a bit there. Alvito Killer 3-second time penalty. But Netza, we talk about this a lot then. Is the undercut worth it? Because yes, you do get clean air, like Em mentioned, especially in Sector 3 where you want to, but you also miss out on the DRS, so ideally you want to undercut with someone.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, what I'd do is, there's a situation that you could explain right at the front here. Toto is ahead of Rajic, but he's on the worst tyres. If I was Toto now, unless he's going to try and push to get out of the DRS, which actually he looks like he might even do because he's gaining so much time, I would just fall behind Rajic, because Rajic is going to be faster on those softer tyres, and then just use those tyres to essentially save myself. Obviously, now the hards and the mediums are going to be less. There's going to be less differential than there was at the start of the stint, for example. But Toto might have pulled away 6.5, 7 tenths by doing an amazing last sector. But now, in this next DRS straight, that is going to be reduced to 0. So there's no point in him doing that.
Yep, he needs Rajic to make a mistake. He needs Rajic and Kevin to fight or something like that. Because Rajic's just going to close up now on this try and probably get by on the next one, or just sit behind that one as well. He might even get by on this one, as it seems like he is closing in rapidly, saving his battery, and he's just going behind Kevin. Can he get a good run? That's another lockup by Toto against the Toto. Really going hard on the braking then into the chicane, which you got to do so much time. But I mean, I think he can't afford it on the hards then, but once those start to wear out, and the more he locks up, the more he will eventually lock up, so it's a slippery slope then. But he does stay ahead now, just, yep, like we said, that 7/10 gap or 6.5 tenths gap is now down to 2.5 tenths, and Rajic right behind him.
Yeah, and more importantly, the guys who were staying with these lot are now falling away. Avimus is now 8 tenths behind. the leading firm. That's going to be, he's going to be out of a second now because he just bottled that section up now, and he's losing the back end all over the place. So he's out of DRS range. I knew eventually he'd fall out. So
He's pitting.
He's pitting. So I'm not sure if that's trying to get an undercut or if that's him trying to go for a two-stop potentially. If he goes on to mediums, this could be a two-stop, but we will see what that will entail.
What's it looking like? Ramos onto the hards is what I'm seeing right now. Is that the case? Was that a good pit stop?
I think so, yes. They almost are in the DRS range of the driver in front of them, so they can pull up very easily now.
Yeah, on the fresh hard should be rather easy. Dylan in the pit lane as well as, but the lead is now, look at that. It looks like Rajic is, so were you on the leaders? Because Rajic is over second, almost a second back, and yes, he will gain on this straight, but we could see Toro pushing out of DRS range here.
Yes, we could. I'm not exactly sure what Toro's plan is here. Surely they've got to work together, because if Toro does pull out of DRS range, that means that Kevin is going to basically be able to easily get by.
Maybe Rajic is going to pit then.
Yeah, I don't see how his mediums are falling off so quickly if that's the case.
Yeah, same.
Because like, but if mediums only do 8 laps, well, then what are softs gonna do? Like softs would literally be gone within 5 laps. As Remus gets past Javito Kilair, that's an important move for him. If those hards are so much quicker, as Rajic does come into the pits, I assume he'll be going on to a set of hards. I'm surprised no one's gone for the 2-stop just yet, the medium soft.
Maybe the hards are just the best race cars, so Toro starting on them was either maybe not the smartest thing, because what he's doing right now, he's going to be pulling Kevin along like he did to his teammate there. Nicholson, like you said, lost a bunch of time. He's now 2.8 seconds behind, and will be interesting to see where Ramos comes out according to Rajic. Rajic is on the right now. Martin, if we can go on board with Ramos.
He's being held up by Marquitos. He's trying to go up the inside of turn 2 and 3. And there's contact! If he hadn't been held up by Marquitos, he would have been right at the back of Rajic there. That is such a shame.
Yep,
he's going to have DRS. Yeah, that is such a shame for Remus, because if he'd have not been held up throughout the entire last sector and that first corner, he would have most certainly been up here and potentially trying for an overtake. As Rajic is trying to use his hot lap to just try and force Remus out of the way, but look, that's just gonna make it harder for him further down the line, because although Remus isn't as fast a driver, if you can just stay in that DRS, it's going to be a nightmare, and it's going to be impossible to get him away from him.
Oh, and that would have been, if Remus could just like, he must have lost a bunch of time, not only through turns 1 and 2, also through the final sector. I remember they went into the final sector at this point right here. 1 lap ago, Remus was like 1.2 seconds behind Marquitos then. So he was pretty much going a second faster each sector. Kevin now into the pit lane then. Let's see how strong the undercut was. Ramos did close in quite a bit by Rajic. So here we go. Ramos and Rajic then making their way through the final sector. They've got 2 more corners to go. Kevin right now in the pit lane. He's going onto the hard compound tires as we expected. Everyone seems to be in the pit lane. So it seems like quite a few things going on in the pit lane. But I think Rajic will get ahead. Rajic clean air then, unlike Ramos had on him then just a while ago. Then Rajic up, and yep, Kevin is behind them. What's going on in the pit lane, Em?
Yeah, everyone is like pitting out of nowhere. Everyone is going on the hards too, so I think everyone is doing the same strategy. Maybe they steal their strategy from each other. I don't know what's going on. Everyone is in the pits out of nowhere. Boom.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I was Remus, I'd be super crafty here. What I'd do is I'd send a ridiculous move on Rajic and then let Kevin go through on the inside or something like that. Because at the moment he's got a dilemma where he's got to now let Kevin through, but he's got to try and hold up Rajic at the same time. This is what I'd do. I'd find a move into one of these corners, I'd stick it at the inside of him, make him a massive annoyance, and then let Kevin through at the same time.
Yeah, almost like scare, like pretend you're going to go for the move ahead, which makes Rajic jump out the way or just a bit from the apex, and then you've got the open door there. But he's very close right now, and he's got 90% ERS then. Rajic is saving for all his money. If Rajic's not careful, Kevin's a second off him. If Kevin can close up now here to the turns 1, 2, and 3 and the hairpin, he might be able to make a move as well then. but Rajic, he is saving. So everyone in the pit lane, bar from the top two who started on the odds, they're still hoping for a safeguard to come out. Look at that, Ramos all over the back of that Red Bull. Look at that, the Red Bull saving battery, trying to play some sneaky DRS games, but Kevin has closed in because of that. If the two Ferraris can get past on this straight, maybe Kevin can get past on the one after that. That would surely be the best for them. So here we go. Ramos goes first. Then he is 1/10 behind. He's not using any battery, mate. You gotta use your battery so Kevin can get by. They're waiting for the next straight then instead of burning it here.
That's a very strange tactic. If I was Remus, what I'd have done is
I've got bad exit as well. So he's just sacrificed what, like 10% battery, and now he needs to burn to get back in that striking distance of, what is it, 3/4. So yeah, you should just I think he was playing it almost a bit too smart there, where he's like, okay, I'm gonna wait behind and get him on the next straight, get him on this straight, burn it so you're like 4/10 in front, and then Kevin gets a good one out of the chicane and can get him into the long left.
What I'd have done if I was Remus there was I'd have got from that straight and then held him up through the chicane so Kevin's got an easy overtake. That's what I would have thought of. They're trying to overthink it, like you said. They're trying to make it a lot harder than it needs to be, because now Kevin's closer to Remus than Remus is to Rajic, and Remus is now over pushing the limits of the car to try and keep with Rajic. If I was Remus, what I'd do is I'd burn all of my ERS pretty much on the next straight line, the chicane, into the chicane, send it out of the inside if I need to, and just completely run Rajic out of road and let Kevin sneak by like a Frugos Hamilton moment.
Yeah, the thing is, he's also in. Now he's finally into overtake, but he was in one last time around. Now he's in a hot lap and he's got DRS, so surely now he can get past.
He's going to none. He's not going to gain. He's not going to gain enough. What are you doing, man? You're now holding up your teammate. Well, he's not holding up his teammate, but this is not going to work for him.
It's not, and look at that, that's another bad exit out of the chicane then. And once again, I think now he's going to let Kevin Bartman, but that's 2 laps of wasted effort. You had the tires warmed up, unlike Rajic. And, I mean, yes, they're going to come out in front of Toro, but Toro on the mediums will surely close in. And he should have just gone for it, should have just pulled the trigger. Sure, maybe Rajic will get you on the next straight, but you had 90% battery, and you saw Rajic is saving into every corner. Martin, can we look at how much battery Rajic has right now?
Yeah,
50%.
Two Ferraris behind about 90 and 100. If I was Remus, I'd have, because he was faster than him in the first couple of laps, I would have just sent it up the inside of one of the chicanes.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. When you're a teammate in this situation, your job is not to be the fastest driver you can be. Your job is to be the most awkward driver you can be around your teammates' rivals. Yes.
It's irritating. They should fear you when they come out of the pit lane right behind you or right in front of you.
To be fair, he did get held up by Marquitos, which wasn't his fault. But he just still needed to do better in that situation. You need to do a good job for your team. The only thing I could see them trying to do now is get Kevin to go by, and then Remus try and go by as well, and then he tries to mess with him while he's already behind Kevin, which is, I suppose, a strange strategy. But look, Kevin's got by him instantly. First try, pretty much.
And look at that. We say Remus would have been Kevin right now. Kevin might, look at that. Rajic, I doubt Rajic will get past because Kevin can just strain his battery here. And they're closing up to Tala as well, so yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how Tala will handle with them too.
Taha shouldn't get in the way of these guys, or if he does, they'll get past him instantly because the tyre offset is so big. Yellow flags instead of 2, that's one of the Haas's round. It's Javito Kilaris out. Oh, that's a safety car.
Toro. Oh, that's just helped Toro. If Kevin, Rajic and Remus have got a fresh set of mediums, it's looking good for them.
Yeah, I think that doesn't help Taro because now he'll have to go on to... He can't go medium. Mediums will not make it to the end because they were dying within 8 laps.
Well, they've got less fuel now.
What is he going to do? Talha's into the pits. I don't know what Talha's going on to, but everyone else behind is also coming into the pits. Let's go down to the pit lane.
Yes, thank you. Everyone is going in the pits except for Toro, which is... crazy, a little bit crazy.
He was past the pit entry, I think. He was past the pit entry.
Yes,
oh, good for him. That's smart. That means Kevin is now in the lead. And Toro is coming right behind him. Because you lose like 20 seconds in the pit lane on this track. That's a lot. And there are also only 2 drivers with the medium tires. The rest are on the hards, which is
Mm.
surprising me.
Yeah. The mediums aren't going to go to the end. They just aren't going to be able to make that to the end. The hards, meanwhile, I was thinking Toto is just in a crap situation right now, because if he goes to the mediums, he's going to have to make another stop. But if he goes to the softs, which is the only other tyre he can go to, he's going to have to make another stop as well. So I don't know what you do if you're Toto in this situation. You can't just stay out and not go for a stop at least. He's got to go to the medium, surely. He's coming in. It's surely got to be mediums. He's going to try and coax him to the end, I suppose. He'll come out in the lead because although it's about although it's a 20-second loss in the normal green flag conditions, it will be half that under safety car. Mediums it is for him. This is going to be such a difficult race for him to make it to the end of. It will be.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm gonna use this time, Nedzo. My throat is absolutely, it's drier than the Sahara Desert, or drier than a steak that you would cook. I'm gonna go grab something to drink.
That is absolutely fine. In the meantime, we may as well do some promotions. So, yeah, we have 3 partners from what I know. We have Rogue Energy. You can go and get some energy. You can go to Miniature Motor World and F1 Factory as well, because they provide lots of like little F1 memorabilia and like model cars and stuff. And obviously, if you want to follow our main socials, which is our socials as the VD Racing League, you can join our Discord, which is where all of the sugar goes down, where the drivers argue with each other, where penalties get dished out, where people punch each other in the VCs, where we play games. It's a very fun community. You can also watch us on YouTube, obviously, which is where all of our races are streamed. You can follow the Instagram for all the amazing reels and TikTok, where you see all the amazing edits that we put out, and obviously Twitter, which I can't really think of what else we do on there. But it's all at VD Racing League. That's the @ for all of them, with a handle for all of them. But yeah, you can follow us, use our partners. There's discount codes that you can use. I don't know what the discount codes are, but they do exist. As Dylan has spun under safety car and has just reset the track, that's a penalty. And he's lost multiple positions by doing that, so I don't know what he's up to. But Toto is in such a bad position right now. Those medium tyres, they'll be quick to start with, and he could potentially pull out of the DRS range of the guys behind him. But whether he's going to be able to make those tyres to the end is another question entirely. What he could do is he could get out of DRS and then just sit 1 second in front of everyone else, and essentially just drive like a metronome, where he doesn't drive over the limit of the car at all, and he just drives to the exact speed that he needs to. That's the only thing I can suggest that he could do to potentially save his race. Meanwhile, I don't know what Dutchy's doing, because Dutchy's going incredibly slowly.
Dutchy just gone into the pits. That's why he lost a big amount of seconds. But it's safety car, so who cares?
Yeah, he was going very slowly for Richard. I'm not sure if he's just trying to make sure his tyres are not going to burn too much, but at the same time he needs to catch up to that queue because he's 45 seconds away from it. He's on the opposite side of the circuit. Yeah, I mean, the only person that actually benefits is Toto, because the more laps spent under safety car conditions, the better his tyres will be at the end. But he's still going to need a miracle. Potentially 13 or 14 green flag laps on those medium tyres.
Yep. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. But, yep, with 1 lap on those mediums, I mean, he's on this. How long did the guys in the first team go? What, 10 laps or so?
8 or 9.
8. Oh, dear God. And like, fuel, yes, fuel makes a difference, but it doesn't make a 4 lap difference, right? So he's gonna be struggling as well. Only hope he is that the hards are also not the greatest tires at that point.
Yeah, I mean, what I suggested and where you were gone was to potentially do it where he could just what's it called? Get out of DRS so he's not got everyone fighting right behind him, and just sit like 1.5 seconds ahead of the pack and just basically save his tyres. so that he can save those tyres, he can get to the end, but not actually drive to the full potential of them, just to save them.
Yep.
This is just so awkward and bad for him. As Dutchy's still not caught up yet, so he's gonna be thanking the Lords and Jesus that Dutchy is not catching up. As Dylan gets 3-second time, and he's gone into the pits. Okay, so he's on an unfair 3-second time penalty because that glitch still exists in this game. I think that's been in the game for at least 3 years now. As now he comes into the pits, what's he going to go on to? I assume a new set of mediums, potentially. That's actually quite clever. Just put on a new set of mediums. Oh, he's also serving a time penalty, so that's even cleverer. But that's also going to mean that the safety car is going to come in even later, because he's even further back now.
I think there's a maximum limit, so I think it'll come in this lap. There's a max limit.
Okay.
If it does not come in, then Rajic will be absolutely loving life, or Toro, sorry, will be absolutely loving life.
Yep. So new set of mediums onto Dylan. I mean, they'll catch up to the end. They'll catch up to the end of the safety car queue anyway, even if it does. Even if that was the case. So yeah, it's gonna be tough for Toro. If he does get this win somehow, I mean, the only thing that could save him here is another safety car where he just resets the field again, and then he could, for example, go onto another set of mediums and probably stretch them to the end. But he's gonna be so screwed if that doesn't happen. Javito Killer was the one who, I'm not sure if he was the one who caused it, but he was the one who had the problem. And safety car is in this lap.
Yep. Here we go then. It's gonna be 11 laps to go then, so...
He's slowing it right down.
Yeah,
right down, 25 miles an hour.
40 kph for all of you correct boys over there.
Jesus Christ. Like, is this just because he doesn't want to burn any more of his tyres than he needs to, or is that just to let the safety car get away? Potentially a bit of both, because he's now up to 80.
No, yeah.
If I was him, I'd just go as slow as possible, because that will just save your tyres. I mean, it's a bit of a scum. People complain about it, but as long as you're not accelerating and braking, it's fine. Going 30 miles an hour is fine. As we come through on towards it, we'll get. I think he's gone.
He has gone then. He has gone, and he's got a pretty healthy gap with 6/10 or so. He now needs everyone behind to fight absolutely hell and hard. And yeah, look, like you said, Nedsley, he just needs to get out of 1 second here. He's got a lap to do that, and it's looking good so far. Then, as Kevin is being put under pressure by Rajic behind.
If I was Toro, I know these two are battling for the driver's title, but if I was at Toro, I'd be saying to him, look, just be an arse to Kevin. I mean, he's already got the second gap to him, to be fair, but now Rajic could cause problems, and Nicholson could potentially cause problems here as well, because he's going to potentially make it 3 wide. Up the inside of Kevin, he goes into the chicane. Is he going to get the move done? This is going to be music to Toro's ears, because now Nicholson got forced out, and now Talha attacking on the outside in the McLaren. He do wheel to wheel, and he's going to box Nicholson in there. He's going to be stuck to the left, and he can't do anything unless he goes to the inside of that and make it 3 wide. He doesn't do so. He will keep on the inside, and this is good for Toro. Now he's 1.4 seconds, 1.5 seconds clear of the pack as we start to go towards the next lap, and it's now DRS will be able to make this lap.
Up inside of Kevin, getting real aggressive, and this is usually where Kevin loses out his points. He's just, I don't want to say a bit too kind, but he's napping a bit on the safety car restart right now as there's contact between the McLaren and the Williams.
It's also the fact that Talha is on mediums. He's on much newer mediums.
Yeah.
So if I was Talha, I'd just be trying to be a menace, trying to catch up to these guys. Toro just needs to be a metronome. He needs to be metronomic and get the least amount out of the tyres, while also getting the best, like the time is closest to being like a second ahead of the pack. It'd have to be essentially like a robot if he wants this title, because obviously he's further back in the championship. Talha goes past Rajic, but I don't think those tyres are making it to the end.
It's gonna be, if he's pushing very hard, it's gonna be very, very tough. And He also needs to manage his battery, which we saw in the first inning. He tends to drain us now, Werner. And Dutchy fighting, that's very close, and that's a beautiful switchback. Boys, to some, he hasn't done a lot in this race, but that way, what he has done just now was absolutely brilliant then. And we've got, never mind, I was going to say but I realized that this game has got more glitches than a gorilla has hairs. That's probably not my best simile or metaphor or whatever it is in my commentating career.
Yeah, it's a good analogy. But one thing that Talha being in second now doesn't help is the fact that he can now pull these guys closer to Toro. He won't obviously be as good as Toro because he's just not as fast a driver, but he's better than they would be on hard tyres. So he's going to put them along with DRS, and it will just keep them within that range of Toro where eventually his tyres will go off. It should be, like, if we're going on just normal like times, it should be in like 2 or 3 laps time, but it'll get another lap or 2 on that margin because there was time on the safety car. But Toro needs to work his magic. I don't think he's going to be able to do so.
Yeah, 2.6 right now. Rajic needs to get ahead now. And I don't think he will then. 3, 2, still 2 tenths. Getting down, it's getting down. Further back though, Makito's getting past his teammate. Can Rajic get past Tala? No, he can't, at least not in the first straight. Then Martin, let's jump all the way up to P3 then. Can he get past? Look at Tala's absolutely hugging the inside like it's his girlfriend. That one was a lot better, wasn't it, Ned? So that's simile.
Well, you don't usually. There's a lot more things that I do friends than hug them, but we are. I think now Rajic is in that position.
We're on YouTube. We all remember.
Yeah, I know. Like, you can hug them. You can go on dates with them. You can.
You can be very. You can have fun with them. You play games.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can do hobbies. You can.
Game nights. Yep, game nights.
Yeah.
You can work out. You can work out.
Game nights. You can play with them.
Yeah.
But now Rajic is in that position, and that's not going to be good for Toro because Rajic is a championship leader, and being in this position right now will be good for him. Kevin needs to get past Talha now and potentially make Rajic's day a lot more difficult. I don't think. I think. Oh, Talha goes a little bit deep. That could give Kevin a bit of an opportunity. But with the DRS being open for both drivers, it will be difficult for him to make that move, especially when Talha is going. He's got the hot lap deployed, hot lap ERS deployed, and now he's to the inside of Rajic. Already got past.
And that's what Remo should have done to Rajic. Just annoy him. We know Talha's is not got the outright pace over a full race distance, but he just annoys him. Look at that. Rajic lost 3/10 in that turn alone. And
now Kevin's got a chance.
Yep,
Kevin's got a chance.
Kevin with the double overtake round that outside going into the long left-hander. He's being hunted out to dry. Careful, boys, with the front end rear wheel then. And it was oh so close there.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin wasn't really close on, but it might Talha and co. But now Kevin's in that position where he can try and fight with Rajic, and this fighting in general will make it a lot easier for Toro because that gap has stayed at about 3 seconds. He has 7 laps to go here, or now it's 7 laps to go because they're coming across the line. It's going to be a tough one. I'm not sure because he'll have to lose 1 second a lap for the rest of the race. If he only loses that, then he'll be fine. But it's a risky one. Whether those tyres will hang on until the end is another fact, or another thing entirely. Especially if Kevin was to send some ludicrous moves, it could help him out. But Kevin's going to be wary to that fact and potentially not even do that.
Yeah, I think Kevin and Rajic now need to work together, trying to shake that McLaren of Tala off. And I don't think they will. Look at that. Kevin now gets past Rajic. Tala will probably, Tala gets even Ramos past Rajic. I'm currently looking at the timing board. Tala all the way up to P2 as Williams has spun once again. It is Dutchy yet again. So yeah, Toro is absolutely loving this then.
If I was Kevin, I'd also be thanking Remus because now Rajic is in 5th place.
Yep, that's
5th place is not a lot of points. If I was Kevin, I'd just be asking him to hold up Rajic as much as possible and put him back into the clutches of Nico Sunenko. Through this hotel section, he needs to do what Perez did in 2021, essentially, just arc the bus. If I was Remus right now, but he's not going to do that.
Ferrari into a bus.
Yeah, that's what I'd do because I'm very good at this.
2020 Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean the gap's now 4 seconds. That just shows you how much they're battling. They're losing time. to Toro. Handover
and
fixed
Toro
now.
can't protect the tires now.
Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be much tire protection to do now. I mean, you could just kind of make sure he doesn't get to like puncture territory, but it's a case of can he do it? Now, 4.2 seconds with 6 laps to go. That's about 7-8 tenths of lap. So it's a bit better for him that he can lose a bit more time than before. Remus going deep into the corner, trying to make sure that Rajic can't send any moves. And him having DRS on his teammate will help. He could even get P3 by the end of the straight. He's looking good. He's even looking good on his own teammate. He's not going to get any moves done. Neither is Kevin on Talha. That's really strange how he's not gone for a move there. Because now Remus is looking for a move and he's got everyone bunching up behind Rajic. Right, this is going to be confusing because if Kevin doesn't go for a gap now on Talha, he is going for it now.
Remus Remus comes to your past as well.
Yep, Remus is going through. Talha's going to send it deep.
Actually, these fighting is going to help Kevin because it means they're going to push Rajic just a bit
Even further out of the even further out of the window. As now Remus just needs to work. As I said, if he can keep Rajic out of these high-scoring positions, even if he finished 4th, for example, instead of 3rd, if he just kept Rajic out of those top 4 positions, he'd be doing his job. Because now, if you look at the standings, obviously, I think Toro would be Kevin would be 24 points off, and Toro would be like 23 points off. Now that would be down to like 10 points away instead of 20 or so. It's going to be very close.
They just go chip away at that lead that Rajic has.
Yeah, they essentially do need to just work together to do it because now, who was it who got pole position again? It was
Kevin. It was Kevin, Toro, Rajic.
So Kevin will be on 24 points away, and Toro will be on 23 points away. So now it will be Toro. Toro will be 8 points away, and Kevin at the moment will be about 15-16 points away.
Oh, and that's real close. But yeah, Toro pretty much more than half in the gap.
Yeah.
Kevin is closing in though.
He is closing in.
Will it be enough though? I doubt it. He might get within DRS, but not enough. Thing is, Kevin is also bringing an entire army of cars with him.
Talha and Remus fighting, here we go. Remus, if I got past Talha now, I'd just park the bus because I want Rajic to fall back into the likes of Nico, Sun and Co. and Frobel and Froby, whatever his name is. Just so that he can potentially go down to 6th or even 7th. The less points that Rajic gains, the better it's going to be for his teammate. I would just park the bus in these sectors. There's not much you can do in the straights and stuff, but there is stuff you can do elsewhere.
Oh, well, lap 26 out of 29, and then we have a fight for the lead. Kevin trying to close in on Toro. We have a fight for P2 then between Kevin, Remus, Tala, Rajic, Nikasan. Hell, Froby's probably in it. And then we have a fight for one singular two championship points then. Between, well, who is it? Marquito, Sassoon, Dylan, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Werner has dropped off massively now.
Yeah, Werner, Dutchy as well. It's the Kevin is not gaining enough on Toro to get past him by the end of this race, but I think we already knew that. Rajic is now close behind Talha, but it's not enough as well. Remus even kind of half-sending a move on Kevin there. He's just trying to lull the guys behind into a false sense of security that he wasn't helping his teammate out there. They're just going to stick in DRS, and Nico needs to catch up to the back of Rajic realistically. This is where Remus can make some help and help his teammate out here. But I think if it hasn't by like lap 28, you have to start thinking about backing the guys up behind. And Talha goes sideways, and that's Rajic pushing his way through. That could be controversial. Oh, he's spun it! Rajic is spun! In the last sector, that is the potential championship contender losing out. P7, he could even lose out to us and Isaac here, where he's got a time penalty, luckily. But now Rajic needs to try and push, because if he can get back within 3 seconds of Frobel, he will now be back in championship contention. That will be controversial. An incident that has cost a championship contender a potential shot at a top 5 position and potentially even have damage, because he's not actually got damage. But now that takes Toro from within 8 points, like he was before, to now within 4 points of the championship lead, and Kevin will be within 10.
Yep, that's... Oh, Remus gets past Kevin, so maybe they're DRS swapping. Well, I doubt they'll be able to catch up to Toto. So, yeah,
It's worth a go, though.
they
It's
just
worth a go.
ain't. Yeah, they've got space. Maybe Kevin trying to go for the fastest lap. Well, who's got the fastest lap right now?
That's a good point as well. I didn't think about those points. Fastest lap
Maybe-
is currently belonging to Toto. That's
Yeah,
why
I doubt Kevin can get that back. Fuck things.
I'd also argue. Actually, no. No, you don't go. You wouldn't pit Remus here because now then you fall behind Rajic more point. And you just kind of sit in this position. It's now 2 seconds. I'll check the times as they come across the line this time round. It could still be on, you know. 1 minute 26.3 for Toto, and it's a 125.5, so 8 tenths that lap. Going on to lap 28, it's still on slightly. You never know with
No, Toto, he'll probably get a 3-second time penalty.
Let's just check.
Oh, can you check warnings?
Yes, I will check warnings. Warnings. Toto has 1 warning, and Kevin has 1 warning. So that won't be something that pertains to this race. But Kevin just needs to work hard here and get into that position where he can attack. But Remus can't help him right now, I don't think. I think that Remus' job is done. Oh, a little bit of a lock up into the chicane. Taha past Nico's son. Rajic is not gaining enough on Frobel. Yellow flag on. That's Werner round, or Werner makes contact with someone. I think the battle for first is kind of over between Remus has now gone past Kevin. Not sure why he's done that, because now it's going to disadvantage Kevin. I mean, he is on older tyres, I suppose, Kevin, but...
Maybe they're just trying to DRS swap, but then again, yes, Kevin's on older tyres, but surely Remus lets him by before the end of the race. Surely this is just a last
Or I've got an idea. Or what we're trying to do is we're trying to get Remus to overtake because he's on the better tyres and go up to the back of Toto and potentially hold him up. But it's too late to try that. If it was 2 more laps, then he could have done it.
Yeah, they need Toto to lock up or run wide or do something.
Yeah, or have a puncture if those tyres really are that bad.
We can ask him in the interview.
Yeah. But we'll find out if he does get a puncture, or won't need to ask him about it if that happens. 1.5 seconds now, but I think it is a bit too late. 1 more lap and it could have potentially worked. As almost, I think it's now going to let Kevin through off the back of the straight. Sasson has been disqualified for failing to use 2 tyre compounds.
Oh,
so they didn't pit.
Yep.
That's a rookie mistake for him, as Kevin now repasses Remus, but definitely too late. 1.4 seconds to gain in a sector and overtake. Not happening, as he's especially going super aggressively on the throttle inputs. Rajic, look at Rajic, how close Rajic, because of all fighting in front. Rajic is now going to move into P6. Rajic is going to move into P6 and potentially ahead of Frobel into P5, so he might be back into a good position here.
Yep, it's looking good for him. Tala just getting a bit distracted behind, fighting very hard as he has done throughout the race. Froby is also fighting, and there's contact. Rajic might even pick up. Well, Nicholson didn't spin around, but it should be P5 then for Rajic. So despite that late on spin, he's still going to pick up a top 5 finish, but instead it's going to be Toto then, who picks up the race win, followed by a Ferrari 2 and 3, with Kevin doing what he needs to do, and Remus picking up that 3rd place.
Yep, Nico's son just trying to fend off Frobel for one last attack through the final corner. He's got it. That's Nico's son, but Rajic will move up into P5. So Rajic's title fight is still on. 8 points the gap now between him and Toto. And actually with the fastest lap, it'll actually be 7 points, my bad. And Kevin, it will be a further, I think, 6 points back, so about 13 or 14 off. So it's definitely not over as we go into the final 3 rounds of the season in Hungary, Bahrain and Portugal. As the last couple of drivers ferry over the line, Werner, Marquitos and Ducci will come across in half a minute's time.
It's all to play for then. 3 rounds left. I mean, it is crunch time. 1 mistake, 1 spin. Like, let's say Rajic would have had front wing damage from that. That would have been, he can't afford something like that now when he's only got, what was it, 10 points to Kevin or so.
Yeah, he's now got 7 points to Toto and about 13 or 14 to Kevin, which will be crucial. Kevin was 24 points behind at the end of qualifying and will have gained, with that result, about 18 to 10, so 8. So yeah, 16 points behind Kevin is. So it's a bit further behind. But he's still in with contention, especially I think Toro has a big fight of his title. So Toro, after failing to finish on the podium for 5 races between Brazil and Japan, has now won all of the last 3 races.
Wow, that reminds me of Vettel back in 2010, winning 4 races in a row, getting 100 points in all of them, closing in on the championship lead. But here we go then, the finishing order. And then Toro from P2 on the grid. Great strategy. Had a bit of luck with the safety car then. Kevin P2, Ramos P3, Nikasan P4, Rajic P5 after being spun out late on good comeback drive from Tala P6, Froby P7, Ozod P8, Dylan P9, Werner P10, Marquitos just missing out on the points in 11, Dutchy 12, and then our DNF is Javito Killer, and our DSQ is Sassom. So now we're going to go over to the interviews. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it, but you've got Nezo. He just as good, isn't he? Aren't you?
Yep. We'll move into the interview pen now. So we will go into that now, and we will see what we can do. Right, we are in the interview pen. Guys, we have Toro, we have Kevin, and we will soon, hopefully, have Remus. While we wait for Remus to come in, we can go to our race winner. The man who we said surely he's going to have some sort of problem with his tyres, but managed to manage the gap to the end, and eventually there was no threat. There was no fighting, and there was no problem for you. How does this help you in your battle for the title, Toro?
What was the question?
Okay, so I said essentially you managed to manage the tyres. You, despite having to go on to mediums, which in the earliest stints of the race only did 8 or 9 laps, you did about 13. Now you are 8 points behind your teammate Rajic. How is your potential title battle looking in the going into the last 3 rounds?
I mean, I'm happy with the race, but next race is Hungary. I don't like this track. I think Rajic will be faster than me if he won't be unlucky. But yeah, I think maybe there's a chance, but yeah, I am not losing hopes for the win, the VDC.
Yep, that is fair enough. Let me think of another question. So, obviously, you've won this race. You've won the last 3. You went 5 races without a podium, and now you've got 3 races in a row with a victory. I know you said that Hungary isn't a good track for you, but do you think that, given your recent form, you're on a great string of form, arguably the best form anyone's ever been this entire season, and now Kevin's a bit further behind, does that give you a bigger chance to potentially go for it?
I mean, yeah, for sure, but I have a good strategy in Hungary, but yeah, everything is possible. I hope there won't be safety cars in Hungary, and yeah, we will see.
And do you see a threat from Kevin to potentially take second or even first away in the Drivers' Championship, or do you think it's just going to be between you and Rajic?
I think Kevin has also a lot of chance to win the VDC. I mean, everything can happen because I wasn't on podium before that 3 races. I was 5 races in a row without the podium, and now I'm winning 3 races in a row. So yeah, I think even Kevin can win the VDC. So yeah, everything can happen.
That is our leading man and our winner here in Abu Dhabi answering questions. And now we'll move to our second place finisher. You and your teammate worked really well together in that race. There were some bits that I thought you could have done better, but overall, that was a great result from you. How was it from your perspective, Kevin?
Yeah, Remus really helped a lot. I think he's my best teammate so far because he helped me in the quali and he helped me in the race with catching up to Toro. But yeah, I think if we had 1 more lap, then we could have overtaken him. But yeah, I'm still happy considering the hearts were shit at the restart.
Yeah. Given Rajic's low position, and now obviously you lost points technically to Toro, But do you think that now being, I think it's 16 points now, you're away from the lead of the Drivers' Championship, with 3 rounds to go, do you think you've got an outside shot of it, or do you think you're a dead-on favourite to win this title?
I don't think I'm the favorite. I think the Red Bulls are the favorites because in the constructors they are way ahead, like more than 100 points. So I think Toro and Rajic are the favorites, but I'm gonna try to do my best to win. Hungary is one of my favorite tracks, so I hope I get pole and I can keep them behind.
That is a very valid response. This is your teammate's first podium of the season. How does it feel to have, I think it's the first, apart from when Daniel Llorente did a couple of starts, it's the second podium for entirely for a Ferrari driver this season that isn't you. Do you think that if he stays for the next couple of rounds, he could potentially decide who wins this title, essentially?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe he can hold Toro or Rajic up in the race and can give me a win. But yeah, I think he can do that. He can be really helpful for me.
Yep, and with that, we don't have Remus in the commentary booth, or not the commentary booth, the interviews pen, unfortunately, but we do have championship contender Rajic instead, the man who finished 5th in the end here today. We'll ask him a couple of questions if he's all right to do so, and the first one I'll ask him if he's going to respond is, what happened between you and Talha, and was that incident avoidable, or do you think that there's going to be something that comes of that?
Repeat, please. Can you repeat it?
I can repeat, yes. So I was saying, what happened with you and Talha, and I know you're going to submit a report about it?
I don't know what happened. I don't care, to be honest, and I won't report it because he still finished behind me, so I don't care.
Okay. This result obviously not ideal for your title ambitions. Thank goodness, though, you had a cushion of 24 points to Toro and 26 points to Kevin. It's now 8 points to Toro and 16 to Kevin. Are you starting to worry going into these final races, or do you think that the tracks look good for you? Do you think that you can still keep in front going into these final three rounds?
I think I can, although there is Bahrain that is my worst track for sure. I have Hungary that I'm very nice at there, and Portugal maybe I'm nice as well. So I have hopes, and adding to that, these 2 last weeks have been hard for me to practice because of the final exams and all of that. So from now on, I will have more time to practice, and I'm hoping to get a new steering wheel with new pedals, because I think I can go faster, and I think the pedals, for example, that have dead zone are stopping me to do that. So I think I can be in the front at least at the last race.
That's an interesting take. Lastly, I'll say, obviously, the big important thing about being able to win the championship is being able to win races. You've got 2 guys behind you who are very punchy, very aggressive, and very good at being able to win races. You haven't won a race since your home race in Spain. Do you think you could pull one out of the bag and win for the first time in what would be about 6 or 7 or 8 races?
I don't know. It's hard. It's clearly that I must win if I want to win this championship, but it is hard, as you said. They are quicker, and my last hopes are those that I told you. So let's see.
We will see. So I think that will conclude today's VDRL coverage here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. You can catch us next time for Hungary, which will take place, I think, at normal time. I don't think there's any F1 coinciding. Obviously, this one had to be delayed because of a real-life sprint qualifying. But I think without further ado, I will say thank you to Jello, who's now left, and to our new commentary geezer, Mido, who did provide us with some great pit lane analysis. But without further ado, I'm Nedzo, and I'll see you all later. Bye!